Zlurpcast!
Hi, what are we into? On my screen, there's 4 ugly fucks, but there's a 5th. Not a 5th ugly fuck, but a 5th face. Eric is still here.
Yeah.
Biran, where is everyone in relation to everyone right now? We don't ask this anymore, but
right,
different
the top formats. 3 are me, Xtreme, and Mike, and you and Eric are on the bottom.
So
we're
like,
a reverse pyramid.
Oh, okay. So they still put the fat guys at the bottom, though, right?
We're kind of all over the place, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I meant the reverse.
Right.
Who's the? You're like like if it was a. What's that building when you're driving to Adepticon? It's like, how'd they fucking make this building work?
Oh,
so
the Zurich building.
Yeah, it's like somebody put together Dead Zone terrain, but they were blind at the same time.
Right.
So you watched a pretty good episode last week, wasn't it? Wild West Exodus. We said, Eric, why don't you come back, wear the same clothes? We all will. Come back a week later, and let's talk about stuff that we're into. You know, like stuff. Is it games? It could be games. Usually it's not, because those are generally reserved for their own episode, but sometimes it is. Comics, toys, shows, whatever. Other things guaranteed to not get us or you laid by being into these things. That's just kind of what happens. Who wants to go first? Talk about something they're into right now.
I'll go first.
Okay.
So lately, I recently got back into comic books earlier this year. And I went from having...
Congrats on learning how to read again. I know it's tough for a few years.
Well, I just look at the pictures. And I went from no comic books to filling up 3 long boxes in the span of 4 or 5 months. But then I'm like, you know what?
And you're buying like expensive boxes, like even fucking cardboard to you is like for the poors.
Right. I haven't jumped onto the plastic ones yet, but I'm eyeing it. $50 a box is a little steep for something like that. But I'm like, you know what I need? I need something that's a comic book but costs more money. So I've been getting into omnibus.
Oh God!
And I went from 0 omnibuys to 5, and these are the latest 2 I got.
Nice.
Similar in a way.
Yep.
Deadpool and Harley Quinn. And
so is that the full run of Posehn and Duggan?
Yes.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Like it's the best one. Yeah,
and I'm being smart about it. I've found places to get them at least 40% off. I got Deadpool for 50% off.
Wow.
So cheapgraphicnovels.com.
What's 50% off? Is it like $50? So it was 100?
Yeah, these are like this is 125. No, $100 for this. So I got it for 50.
Wasn't it a few months ago you were making fun of people who buy omnibuses?
Right.
Or omnibuy?
Yeah, I'm like, what are you guys? You got to get the floppies. And I'm like, no, you got to get the floppies and also get the omnibuys.
And you were talking about like you can't even like hold them. You're not strong enough.
They are hard to read on the shitter. I will say that.
Legs go numb.
Yeah, because I've been reading Spider-Gwen, and that was my first one I got was Spider-Gwen, because I wanted to get one I knew I didn't have any of the floppies or any of the trade paperbacks for it. I knew it, and I always liked her outfit. And you know me in outfits, like sports teams. I don't like sports, but I like the outfits. So I went with that. And I would say for Spider-Gwen, 35% of the material is good. The rest is not good.
You know what's great, Biran? I can tell that you're not lying because you call them outfits and not uniforms.
Right.
In sports. Like, I like the sports outfits. I love that.
Well, because it's like the same thing why Blood Bowl players should not be called themselves coaches. It's ridiculous.
They're not.
It's not a uniform because I'm not wearing it to work.
Right. Well, they are.
Right. They can call it a uniform.
But you call it an outfit.
Yay.
Okay.
I almost bought a Spider-Gwen hoodie, but then I realized it's for chicks.
Yeah. And it wouldn't go with the rest of your outfit.
Right. But no, I'm enjoying this. I watched 2 separate YouTube videos that explain how to crack the book properly, open it for the first time.
Oh, cool.
So
do you want to do it on the camera, or did you already do it?
I already did it, but it's you have to like open like the first few middle pages up like this, and then just start flipping groups of pages at a time to properly break in the spine.
As opposed to opening just the beginning?
Just the beginning and flipping through.
Would that possibly loosen the spine doing it that way?
Yeah. The goal, I guess, is they call this the eye. You want a good even eye on the spine. So that's a pro tip. I don't know if it actually matters.
Hold on, Biran, is this one of those things like if you like look at
yeah,
it,
you and I go like this,
and
then you put the wiener in. Yeah.
Oh!
But I got the Venom one. It's called the Venombus. They do a little play on words on it.
What Venom is that?
It is.
What's the
it
Venom?
Is right when he became the Dark Hero. The Dark
Was that
Guardian.
Agent Venom or when he's worked for S.H.I.E.L.D.?
It's a little before that. It's right after like his first appearance in Amazing Spider-Man 300.
No, it wasn't.
No?
Does that have the Lethal Protector?
Lethal Protector, that's it.
I wouldn't think that would be enough to fill an omnibus by itself, though.
It's got Lethal Protector 1 through 6, Funeral Pyre 1 through 3, Daredevil 1960. It's got I don't know how they get it. But the greatest thing I like about the Marvel ones over maybe the DC one, the only DC one I have is they actually show every issue that's compiled in here on the back. So you can look at that. And they also do all the alternate covers for the issues in the back and some like making of stuff. It's really interesting. It's like a little history book to go along with the comic.
You know, I know you weren't big on those, but I feel that I get value out of it because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you bought every issue, you're paying the most. If you bought every trade, you're paying next most. If you bought omnibus, you're actually paying the least.
Right. The price per issue is cheapest in the omnibus.
Right.
But what is interesting is the main collectors YouTube channels I watch, they bought the floppies, then they bought of the same issue, the trade paperbacks of all those floppies, then the hardcover deluxe editions, then the omnibus. So they buy it all.
Yeah, I mean, obviously nobody wants to rebuy. I think that's ridiculous. And you know, collecting is different. I'm not collecting, but I'd like to get the most things together as part of one story possible. So I like it. What I run into is I already have trades that are in omnibuses. So now it's, well, and then they go one step further. Like if they have the trades and there's no omnibus out, they'll go get the custom binding done of their trades to make their own. Well, what's interesting is, so you have like an event omnibus, like say Infinity Gauntlet. It'll collect every Infinity Gauntlet issue that happened of all the different characters. And then you have ones like this Venom one, it's curated by somebody where they say, these are the important issues related to Venom in this time period. Sure.
19, whatever to whatever.
I'm sure they have at least one Civil War one, probably more than one, right?
Yes.
That would be a lot.
Well, they have Age of Apocalypse is one I might get next.
Yeah.
That's a big boy. That's a
big one.
Like 1,600 pages. And also that, if I wait a week, I could get it 40% off at the Dirtbag comic book store in Palatine.
Wow. Man, you're quite the cheap ass lately. I know you're buying omnibuses and you want to feel like you're not.
Right.
All you do is keep talking about like when the deals occur.
Right. Because it's not like a floppy where I'm in the middle of a storyline and I need to get to the next one. These are, read on the side in addition to the floppy. So it's not as much of a rush.
Yeah. Okay.
And the only reason I bought the Todd McFarlane Amazing Spider-Man omnibus, because I remember seeing a video where it was out of print and I didn't know if it would come back into print, but it turns out it was a reprint. So I didn't have to rush to get that one, but I got it anyway.
The omnibuses, in general, I don't want to say always, but depending, obviously, Marvel, DC, I'm sure, but they'll be reprinted. I think at that level.
Eventually, yeah. Sometimes it takes a long time. Some don't, ever. if they don't sell well enough.
Yeah.
Because what I found a lot is, obviously issues, they are what they are. If you're collecting, great, but it's a hunt. Then you get to trades. A lot of times the trades get collected into,
Deluxe.
it was 7 trades. Now it's 2 like deluxes and then 1 omnibus.
Right.
So I always found that either the omnibus or the collected trades seem like those will always be reprinted. It's one of the two.
Right. And I think I look at the omnibus as basically they're all collected plus bonus features like an old DVD, like commentary and things like that are fun. And also the bigger print, because it's a much bigger size each page, not just the thickness, but this is significantly bigger than a trade paperback in size.
Yeah.
So you get like you get to see all the covers and and sometimes they'll actually do restoring of the coloring on the older stuff, which I'm not as interested in, but it's kind of cool to see that.
It's when they went from the old paper style that had that 4-color printing to the slick paper, the color is just they're almost like cartoony, jarry. So it's hard.
But I'm enjoying the hunt for the good, because you could just go buy every omnibus if you're rich and don't care. But I'm enjoying the hunt for 40% off or more is how I'm trying to do it.
Okay. I'm sure any comic store owners watching are happy to hear that you're hunting for 40% off or more.
That's right.
It's already.
Don't worry, Greg doesn't care because my pull box is very big every week.
Well, you're still going to buy weekly. Right. You're still going to go every Wednesday and pick up books. Yeah. Right. So just like Mike, you're going to buy the digital and you buy the prints, right?
Yeah.
So,
We're collectors, and we all have obsessive compulsive disorder.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that's what I have.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Hey,
I'll be curious to know if you get the Age of Apocalypse, what you think of it.
Yeah.
Because I've been wanting to go back, because I wasn't when it was originally out, I was like, but also it was coming out every week and life was happening and
hard to keep up with them all.
It's hard to keep up, and I've often wondered if I'd probably enjoy it more if I just sat down and just dove into it.
What wife were you on when that came out?
Not the first one, but
okay, that was like 94.
Yeah, it was grad school, and that was not a happy time. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
and also that falls in the era where like 90s, late 80s is as far back as I want to go, because I find like the art a little jarring and get really old.
Yeah, 90s comics are rough.
Yeah,
to me.
The art could, like, especially the McFarlane and the Jim Lee stuff, it got a little over the top. And the thing is, they could do stuff now. They've changed with the times themselves, which I like.
Yeah. Yeah, I look at some of the McFarlane stuff nowadays, and I'm like, why did I like this? But
you were a mere boy back then. We times are different. Like
I was married, but a mere boy. Yes.
Yeah, in your 20s, but you hung out with boys.
Yeah.
You had,
Sometimes you went to their house and their parents were like, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah. Like, I'm here for your son. Try again. I was just leaving. That's what I thought. All right. Who's next?
I'll go next. Mine's pretty similar to Brian's.
Okay.
So, but I haven't been buying all the big expensive things. I'm on the cheaper side. So this was new to me. I'd never heard of this, but I love everything about it. Unfortunately, this is the entire run, so it didn't last long. But it's the Howling Commandos of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's super awesome. It's kind of we collect all the monsters and send the monsters out to fight the monsters. So it's a very weird sci-fi type stuff. I liked it a lot.
It's interesting because isn't Marvel working on expanding like the Marvel Dark or Supernatural universe with Man-Thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like after Marvel Zombies, they're looking for the next thing to exploit like that. But we'll see. Maybe it'll be good. Who knows? But I wish that story or the book had gone on longer. I think it's 6 issues. So it's like one spin-off in S.H.I.E.L.D. and then 5 issues or something like that. Not enough.
Howling Commandos, wasn't that the actual name of Captain America's team?
Yep.
No, that was
And,
Nick Fury's. Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos.
Okay, but it had the what's his guy with the hat.
Yeah,
Dum
Dum Dum.
Dugan.
Okay,
So
he's in.
he died, but in this, his conscious is put into robot bodies. So every time he
course.
dies in this, he just moves to the next body. So that's kind of cool.
Xtreme. When was that made?
It's been a little while.
Yeah.
But this is the first, I just stumbled across it and I was like, this looks like something I would love. And I did.
Did you just find it at a store and saw the name and are like, you know what?
Yeah. I was actually looking for Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos, and that was on the shelf. And I was like, oh, this looks even better than what I was looking for.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's still the magic of going to local comic book stores. You find something you weren't even looking for.
So one of the things I have started getting into is the Epic Collection Marvel stuff that they've been collecting. So this is the first one that I actually have. I've ordered several more, but they haven't arrived yet. It's like a cool Fantastic Four, Lee Kirby stuff to start with. But then I also got the Epic Collection for Sergeant Fury and Howling Commandos. So I couldn't find it at the store. I found something else.
Because those are what, 24, 30 issues roughly per?
Those are about 16, aren't they?
How is it?
16, 20.
Yeah, because
I don't know.
and they're
32 plus 2 annuals.
because they that I remember the Essentials collections that came out were like
Yeah.
a newsprint on black and white, and this is
Yeah.
a better option.
Yeah.
I love those. I've got like 30 of them.
Mm.
They're great.
Well, and they were dirt cheap.
I had all the Daredevils. Of those.
Yeah.
Because what are the epics, like $30 usually?
25, 30, or 40.
40, yeah. But they're color and they have the
Yeah.
slick paper, so
The cool thing, so they're not doing them in order necessarily, but they keep this all contained in one, and it'll like mix all the titles so everything's chronologically the way it's supposed to be. But they don't release them necessarily in order because they want to release the ones that sell, the big stories. So the volume number is actually on the back, so it's not on the spine. So when you put it on your shelf, you're not missing numbers that haven't been
Because they
released.
know the audience, they flip out when you change their mind. That was I was
Wow.
watching Root Tours and people were like, they're having a little condition fit when the spines don't match.
So I got those, and like the Epic Collection is going to be something I've liked for a long time. But then I finally found something I've been looking for a long time. I got my G.I. Joe Classic number 11.
That was your grail, wasn't it?
It was. It's been a long hunt. I finally found it.
Looks
Yeah, I
like it's in
think
good condition.
It's I mean, it has a little damage, but I'm going to get to that in a second. So I think I paid more for this than some of your omnibuses. But
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, rarity.
Is it
So
true
remember
that you complain to the seller because the battery doesn't work?
You have to get out the soldering iron.
No, that's not true. But now that I have this, I can start my custom binding project because now I have everything. So
Is
I
that
don't
is that
feel-
Roadblock on the cover?
It is.
And how many Roadblock G.I. Joe classified figures do you presently own?
0 presently, but now that I have this, I need to get one because that was my deal. So
was the
I don't
deal.
care that the spine is damaged because it's gonna be all cut up and custom bound anyway.
I look
All right.
forward to seeing
Well,
that.
congrats.
completed.
Is that gonna
the
hurt?
only one?
yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, is that gonna hurt, spending all that money to just cut it up?
A little bit.
Okay.
But
It would be too,
I've
but
seen some of
I know
those.
why you're doing it, but
I mean, Mike, you've known Brian for a long time. He thrives on pain. Like, you're like, is it gonna hurt? Yeah. Like, that's what gets him off these days.
But and how much? Because I was watching some videos of people that had that done, and some of them they look like a professional omnibus when they're done.
Yeah,
So-
I think I wanted to keep mine kind of simple. I want them to look like military volumes, so it's just going to be a green volume with white text.
Oh, like a
Go
Jane's
crazy.
book or something like that.
So I'm
So
not going to go.
how many
crazy
do you
with
put
it.
in one? Do you put like 3 of them in one?
It's about 2 inches is what they recommend, staying 2 inches or less. So I think 3, maybe 4 if they're smaller ones. But my plan is to do all the Marvel issues first, and then after that, start working on the IDW stuff.
Okay. Well, sounds like a very nerdy fucking project, and I'm happy you have it.
Good thing you're married already,
Like-
because this would prevent you
Right.
from being married.
Like it's not enough to just acquire them. It's to acquire them to put them in a special binding. So that is as grognardy as you can get. Very cool. Anything else extreme?
Nope.
Okay. Mike, Eric, who wants next?
Go ahead,
Hello,
Mike.
next. I've been waiting for this. Mantic finally released the halfling list, and so now I can. This is the halfling Iron Beast. I'm not done painting it yet, but
Looks like a battle beast.
yeah, it's a big pig. You gotta like,
Like a-
and there's
it's like the-
Oh man,
there's a
Hold that up
stove
the
on
model.
top, and so they're cooking while they're killing.
That's
It's awesome.
pretty cool. That's a Mantic model.
Yeah, this is
That
a
looks
man.
really
This,
good.
yeah, this is. They actually had a whole bunch of halflings that came out with the Age of Infamy, and then that was leading into the halfling army, and they're going to have hard plastics troops coming out. So I can use all the stuff I got from TT Combat. I'm still going to get some Mantic stuff because they were smart. We want you to buy our model stuff. They made the basic range unit or have rifles, not bows. So, and they look cool. So I'm going to get those. But yeah, I've been just excited about finally having an excuse to actually paint them. And
Are you gonna multi-base or paint or do individual?
multi-base all the way. Yeah.
So this is strictly for Kings of War, not for anything else.
Yeah, for King's War, because I'm multi-basing them, and so they're all going to be on that. And I'm a little annoyed with the list because the League of Rordia, which they were in, all the halflings had bows, so I had what's that called? Not legions, hordes. I had hordes of archers, and the halfling list doesn't have that, but whatever. I'll make do. But yeah, they're a full army. They're not like the free dwarves are based on the dwarf list, but they're just kind of a side list. They're an actual full
Wait,
army. So
do you have to then glue them together, or do you have to break them apart?
I'm just gonna leave them. I'm just in case. But
I'm actually surprised Mantic did that because I thought they were striving to not like their thing was once you multi-base, like we're not going to fuck you.
well, I mean, they
thought
still
that was-
exist in League of Rordia lists, so I could use them for that. So they didn't totally hose me over, but it's something to
I
do.
don't
With. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm a little disappointed. But I mean, they did that with the herd too. They got rid of a couple of units that.
Okay.
But,
Do you think more people might like? I know you multi-base, but could you also sort of multi-base and have them separate? In that, if you design a multi-base with holes in them, kind of like just sporadic. Could
well,
you
I've
kinda
got
get
like
that?
metal
I mean, I know
bases with. Yeah. Well, I could make them as regiments and just put two of them next to one another and make them continuous. And I've got these metal bases that I could just slide them on, so I wouldn't have to move them separately. But I will say though, sometimes it's good if you have like a horde in two halves, because you can actually kind of move, and you know how positioning is really important. So you can leave the half there, so you know where you started, and so it's not like in Ice and Fire where it's kind of, oh yeah, I'm gonna move through my own guys. It's okay as long as I. But
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're starting that new league at Grognard. So once that store opens up again, I'll be able to play there.
The store is open, just an open game.
Yeah. So yeah, once it's open for open gaming.
It's open currently or not open?
The store is
It's not
open, just no gaming.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So very cool. Well, I think that's it's good to see that they're moving forward with their own stuff, as opposed to, use whatever models you want. We'll give you rules. I guess it's a good thing to take some ownership of some of their factions and
And the
models
halflings
look good, so
sold
that's good.
very well.
Yeah.
They exceeded expectations. So I think they're going to sell out their initial run probably on pre-order. So
These were resin, right?
No, well, this is that Dead Zone. This isn't resin. This is softer.
Rustic.
Yeah, it's not rustic, but it's that, you know how like the best kind of soft resin that Dead Zone had.
Oh, like the later stuff, like the the Marauders or the Dwarves had it, whatever those.
Yeah. It's that material. It's
the Brockers. That's who had it.
Yeah. Now I bought this on eBay because it's gonna be a while before it's released for the game, but and it was already assembled, which is kind of a pain because getting the guys in the crack series was a little.
How did they get it then? Is that like a pre-release version of it?
Well, it came out for League of Infamy. It's a model of League of Infamy.
That's their game. I forgot what that was. I thought that was an army enlist. That's their game. It's like Warhammer Quest with the bad guys.
Yeah,
right?
with the bad guys. Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot what that was when you mentioned earlier. Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the halflings are, they're selling like hotcakes. So I'll be excited.
Oh, because they make hotcakes.
Hey, hotcakes.
Like
yeah.
That's your general's name is now Hotcakes.
Exactly.
Very cool. Well, I'm glad you're still getting some stuff for that, and hopefully get some games.
Yeah.
Eric, what are you into right now?
Well, I am trading One Addiction Kickstarter for back to comic books, which I have not been an active collector for like 20 years. So eBay has been my friend and my enemy lately, trying to close that gap of 20 years. Just out of the blue this winter, I got a bug in my pants to go through my old stuff, my old long boxes, catalog it, see what I have. I rebagged and boarded a lot of stuff. And then I discovered how much is out there on the internet and how easy it is to buy it now. And
too easy.
Complete those old collections. Like I recently finished off your volume 1 of X Factor. I have every issue from 84 to 95, I think it was.
Yeah, something like that.
And I'm hitting all the local shops when they have sales, like hitting those dollar bins and the half off, backstock bins. And I'm coming home with stacks and
those dollar comics add up when you're getting a lot of them.
Yeah, you find that big run of something you need, and it's like I can't say no to any of these.
Are you like going in with like a list, like basically just filling gaps now?
I am now that I cataloged everything, which makes it easier. When I first started, I was getting crap that as like, damn it, I already have this. Oh well, I got 2 issues of something that cost me $1,
Right.
So it's not that bad.
I've been going around with this like some kind of hipster with his little notepad.
So I did a Google Excel deal where I just listed everything in there, but it took me like a month to go through. I think I had about 3 boxes, and then I had some Xerox boxes full of just, it was just thrown in there. I'm like, I got to go through this stuff and take better care of it. But yeah, and then I dove in deep, and I did say to myself, I'm not going to get every damn title out there that looks interesting. I'm trying to just focus on what I originally liked, which was all the X books and stuff. Granted, there's a shit ton of them.
So
there's some really bad ones too.
Yeah, there is.
So you're doing like midlife crisis, relive my youth kind of thing, right?
I guess. I mean, I am trading off Kickstarter. It's more of an instant high instead of waiting a year to get that high.
You used to always say, Facebook every day you'd see, Eric got another Kickstarter. There's a stack of boxes.
I know. I'm still waiting for crap. I look out. I'm like, I'll get it eventually. I don't know.
No, this is I think this is honestly way healthier because you know what you're getting and you know you're going to enjoy it. And also, whether you go back and read stuff or it's just filling those gaps.
See, I have been kind of going back and reading the storylines that I enjoyed, and just kind of like catching up with the characters that I liked. Like right now I got all the new Excalibur, which is totally different from the original. Yeah. So I'm enjoying reading through it because they changed it. I mean, it's so different. Right. Captain Britain is what's her face Psylocke now, and Gambit and Rogue are in the team, and it's just the whole X world that is going on now is so different
Krakoa.
from
Oh, so
Claremont.
different.
It's
Yeah.
so
You know?
weird.
Yeah.
I like
But
it.
I'm digging it. I mean,
Yeah.
one of my favorite characters
I've been
was
enjoying
Magneto.
Two of the
And he's-
titles I've been enjoying that I didn't think I would are New Mutants and Marauder.
Yeah, I just started getting those too, and I mean I'm going through these old ones, the Powers and House of X,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
from the beginning, and so I'm going kind of backwards, but I'm enjoying getting the update for some of the characters. Like I didn't know Gambit and Rogue got married. I was like, when did that happen? Somewhere in
Half
those
of the
20
X-Men are
years.
gay now.
Yeah, that too. I'm like, come on. I'm like,
Biran, they're not gay. They're just experimenting.
they're experimenting. Yeah.
Krakoa's like summer camp. It doesn't count.
So I like that, Eric, that you are going back to characters and storylines that you remember as a kid, but you're also checking out what's going on now because it is way different. But it's kind of cool because if you look at, take a character you like, you mentioned like Magneto, you can actually go back and see, I mean, I know I've done this before. I'll read reviews of what story arcs I might want to get into because there's so much time in between, what the hell was going on and now that you might actually want to get some opinions. Back in the day, we didn't do that.
No, you just bought it because of the character.
You just bought shit and hoped it was good. And if
Yeah.
it wasn't good, you probably pretended it was good because it was your favorite character and who cares? But now, like I do that, I'll look up like top story arcs by, either a writer or a character. And then it gives me a starting point of something I want to get into. And then, like we talked about earlier, if you want to collect issues, obviously that's your thing in your collecting. But if you just want the story, you could just find the trades you need too. Usually on the cheap.
Yeah, it's much cheaper to get the trades than like there's one storyline I'm trying to find. I think it's the Fallen Angels series they had come out early in Hickman's run, and I was having problems finding any of them. And I was like, oh, they got it in trade. Maybe I'll get it in the trade. Well, just this past weekend, I found like over half of the series in the dollar bin, and it's like, well, okay, I'm still saving money.
Some of the trades they're out of print. Like I had to, like Amazon didn't. I was looking for X-Men Volume 2, I think, from the Hickman run, and I ended up having just Barnes and Noble had. There's always someone. I was shocked Amazon didn't. They only had Comixology stuff.
And now originally what got me into comics was the artwork. And one of the first things I'm noticing with the new, I guess, era of comics is how good the art is. Like a lot of it, back in the day you had artists that were like, that's kind of weird looking, like, your Liefeld and McFarlane. They were all carbon copies basically in the 90s. I think that's why I got out of it. I got sick of seeing the same crap. And then the stories got so bad in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
That I'm like, I can't keep spending money on this, So now granted, I'm going back for that collector to complete runs, but there's so many of them. I think I picked up one or two of the newer ones or those old ones that I found and read, and I'm just like, yeah, I remember why I quit reading these. So I'm getting them just to have them, but I don't really have any intention.
So like when I went back, I started getting, which I never got into. I was like doing you, like, oh, I love Iron Man, I love the Avengers, this, that. But then I started getting into the indie books, and I'm like, wow, these are really good.
Yeah. It's different. I mean, I think comic book writing was treated differently back then too. I mean, it's kind of like TV shows now, where TV is good now, and it's things do change. So yeah, if you're comparing that, I would imagine, Eric, when you're trying to fill those gaps, like it's probably because that stuff, if I remember correctly, like it was so overproduced. Like
some of them,
find all that stuff in the dollar bins pretty easily, right?
Going through some of my old X-Men, like when Jim Lee first started the X-Men title, I have like 5 issues of the same freaking comic.
Because you need the different covers.
I need the different covers. And I go in the store and they're like, oh, $5. I'm like, oh, there's a good investment I did back in the day. But they printed so many of them.
Well, it's like the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man #1.
$10.
Yeah.
Spawn was like that too. I have a bunch of Spawn.
Did you think you'd be rich by now, Eric, by buying those?
As a young Eric, yes, I thought I was going to retire on that shit.
But then you find Amazing Spider-Man #300 or the 2 mutants that you have, JP, that we sent off.
Yeah.
The first Deadpool experience. $2 grand, 10 grand if they're in good.
Yeah. But what's
one
mine
of
going
the-
to be? Probably like a set. I'm going to get like a 7.5.
Yeah,
on mine,
if you're lucky.
you know what
So that was one
I
of
don't
the
care because I just want it sealed in that nice little case. And
put up on the mantle.
Yeah, I don't like the collecting side. I'm completely over it. I'd rather not buy issues now. I just want the story. And the one I sent you is the only. I mean, I looked through stuff I have. I'm like, there's probably stuff that's worth a little bit, but nothing that's going to actually is worth giving you to get graded.
Right.
I'm sure, you know, if you had more of it, and you got a subscription now, right, Biran?
yeah, I did
send
1
more?
year, $150, and you just get $150 in credit. So
What is one cost? Like 10 or more?
it depends. My 300 and yours were more because of their value. They charge you more.
Oh,
if
it's
the
not.
comic's potential value is high.
So it's not based on age; it's based on the already perceived
What
value.
your declared value is, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Hmm.
Eric, is that something that you're getting all these old comics, but for you, it's
some
filling
of
those
it.
gaps.
Some of it, yes, because some of it's I actually took care of back in the day because I figured, oh, this might be worth something. And going through it because I haven't looked at it, a lot of it in so long, I found those treasures. Like you mentioned, Deadpool. I have his first appearance that I completely forgot I had, and I'm looking at it. So something like that, yeah, I want to send away. Granted, I don't think it's going to be
Biran.
$2
He's got
grand.
his own grade.
Yeah, I just
Biran's
saw a
doing
picture,
his own
2
grade.
grand for a 9.8.
Yeah,
But
send
I
to
might do it
Biran.
just to have it. You know, I don't have any
Well,
intentions
he
of
won't send it
selling it.
away. Biran's going to put it under his own plastic and then put a fake price tag on it and give it back to you. And then you do with it what you want. It's
But
it's
the thing is,
kind of like
it seals it for like, so 20 years from now, a 7.5 might be worth $2 grand, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
a Biran 7.5 is like a real, like, what is it? Is it PCS or
CGS.
no CGS? It's a CGS 5 is like a Biran 8.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Just
I
so
have
you
all
know,
my
when you get-
old uncannies. I'd like to do that and see what their value is. I mean, back in the day, 20 years ago, actually more than 20 years ago, they were like $5 back then, but they were only like 5 years old, 10 years old at that time. So I mean, I have old ones now that are like 40 years old. That
now,
to be honest,
question
I think the market's about to crash like it did in the 90s. You see a lot of the excesses, the 50,000 variant covers.
yeah.
Speculators
God, yeah.
buying multiple copies.
when you're looking at comics for anybody, you know, I mean, do you, obviously you're not going to send everything away. If you have a subscription, Biran, you don't want to waste it on
Right.
things that aren't worth anything. Do you generally, you go to eBay and go to like completed or whatever sold
Yeah.
and see, okay, there was one sold probably about what my condition is for a couple hundred. Now I'm going to put it in the, I should get this great account, or like how do you
I did
know
it for
what to
some
send
just
in?
because I love the covers and I actually like how the slab looks. So I had $150 in credit. I knew I was going to get my Amazing Spider-Man 300 and your New Mutants graded. And I still had like $80 to play with. So I'm like, I love this cover. I know it might not be worth anything, but I want it graded. It's a brand new comic.
Ah, okay.
And I'm going to mount it on the wall because I think it'll look good.
Okay, that's kind of cool. It's a different purpose for it. Here's the thing. I mean, who knows, right? Would you say that a comic that might not be worth anything, if everybody assumes it's not worth anything,
That's
one
the
day
key.
might be
Yes.
worth something?
Yes.
Or
Lower
it might
print
be
run.
worth something to somebody else that likes to cover.
Right. And there's also, like, I did it for the Peach Momoko is my favorite cover artist. I did some of her stuff, and her stuff still sells like $50 for, or $80 for a graded copy of hers, even though it's not a key issue. I just like the art so much. And
Okay.
it's also another thing people look at is how many, because Comic Grading, the company will tell you how many have been graded. So you know how common it is to find graded copies.
Does it like number yours then, or
I don't know if it numbers it, but it does say it's like there's 8,000 of this comic that we've graded. Like they know.
wow, that's interesting. Does that change the? I mean, well, obviously the value could change, but their ratings they're based off of a
It's
set.
more like, it's like marketing speculation. Like, I think this is a key issue because of X, and not a lot of people are getting it graded. The only way to really get a 9.8 is to get there at your comic book store before he even puts it on the rack, find the perfect copy, and immediately set it off the grade. That's like the only way I've seen to get a 9.8 or higher.
And
So
I mean,
people
if
speculate
it's coming
like,
in a box,
yeah,
it's already going to be beat up coming in a normal cardboard box, though.
yeah. But that's why they get
Right.
like 50 of them, and you find the one that was perfectly sandwiched and protected. And
That's what I was doing with the
like
backstock.
like in the middle.
Okay, run the middle.
It's like, all right, let me check that out. I was just finished eating some Taco Bell. Hang on.
yeah,
All right, let me find this one.
like maybe the dirtbag comic book store don't get the comics that are in the water damage section.
Yeah, that's true.
Which
That's
is
why you
a
get
third
the
of his rack.
omnibus for half price omnibus, but it's now a soft cover omnibus. because
Soft
of the,
damp cover.
because of the
Damn cover.
So very cool. Well, Eric, I'm happy that you're filling in some gaps, and then also checking out new stuff too. It's kind of the best of both worlds there. So.
I'm also enjoying the current Hickman X-Men stuff. So
Yeah, it's been really good. I mean,
it's so weird. I
from
dig it.
early 90s Claremont to now, it's like, God, there's a lot of crap in there. So it's nice, refreshing.
What would Chris Claremont say about the current ones, though?
They're gay.
Yeah.
Especially since half the characters he created are gay now.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't. That whole, like all those ones that started in that era were all from him pretty much. So,
yeah.
Very cool. Anything else, Eric? No? Okay. My last?
Yes.
Is that me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Am I still here?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Everyone that was quiet. I didn't know if we were frozen or if we were just ignoring.
You're a little laggy. And
so mine is I'm still laggy on my phone. Man, internet. So I am an Iron Maiden fan. That's probably my favorite band, I guess I would say. If I had to pick an actual favorite band. They are at the stage of their career where they don't make albums often. It is usually 6 years or so in between all of them. And there's a tour that happens, and then probably a huge overseas tour because heavy metal is way bigger elsewhere than here. They have a new album. I don't have it yet, but I'm excited to pre-order it. Of course, pre-ordering records now are different. I don't have a CD player. I don't have a cassette player. I buy stuff on iTunes. I know that some people just would rather stream forever, but it makes me feel good to own something, even though I don't have a thing in my hand, even though right now I can't even show you anything. Can you see that? Is that coming up?
Yep.
Okay. A little samurai on there. Senjutsu, their new album, a Japanese themed album.
Which they're huge in Japan, aren't they? Don't they do huge shows in Japan?
They're huge everywhere except in America. Senjutsu loosely translates into tactics and strategy, things that we don't have when we're talking about games. But their new album comes out September 3rd, I believe, whenever this airs. So this is probably right before it. Probably it's still a week out when this comes out. But yeah, it should be pretty cool. There is a single out, if you want to check it out, on YouTube called The Writing on the Wall. It is a video as well, an animated video. It is a very cool, like modern tie-in. There's like a Trump guy in the video. So Biran, you might want to check it out. It is a very just cool, like weird, epic, like, are we all going to die? Well, all the kind of, it's cool stuff. So check it out, Writing on the Wall. They still have Eddie, of course, the mascot. He is now a samurai. But Derek Riggs no longer does the artwork. He created Eddie. I just bought 3 prints done by him, though. He's hitting all the comic circuits. So if you're an old school Iron Maiden fan, look up like a local comic convention near you. You might see Derek Riggs having a booth, and he's doing this all kinds of new take on Eddie, and he'll sign them and take pictures with you, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to probably get those. I think they're like 11 by 17 is what he sent me. They're all rolled up, and I already like sent them to my storage area, but I'm probably going to frame those in my new place, get those up. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff. If you are a heavy metal fan, yeah, it's not dead just because you don't see it on TV or the radio. It's out there alive and well. And the bands that started it all are still making new music, like Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, and all those bands. So that was a quick one for me. That's all I had. I don't have any stuff.
Does he still have the flying school?
Oh, Bruce Dickinson?
Yeah, Bruce Dickinson.
He has COVID right now, but I don't believe he has I don't think he has a school anymore.
I thought he had
He's
a school.
flying. So I'm not sure on the school. I know that he would fly Ed 66 or Ed 666. He would fly it to the next gig and then sing for 3 hours, and while recovering from throat cancer, and still do that. I didn't know he actually had a school per se, but
he flies like a big jumbo jet, doesn't he?
Yeah, it was like, I mean, he would fly like the band and like it has everybody on it. So
yeah, because
if you're the band and they're
he's a real pilot. Like it reminded me of what's it? Vinny Barbarino would actually fly for Qantas.
Yeah, but he wouldn't do the Barbarino voice over the speaker though. Like, oh my God, like we're gonna crash, Mr. Carter. I don't think he would do that, but. No, Bruce Dickinson though. I started actually reading. He had a book that came out about 5 years ago, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's British. He's got a lot of big words in here, and I'm like, I got to really focus on this book. When you're reading like, American autobiographies, and they talk like we talk, and then there's words I have to look up. I have to Google what this word means.
Well, and they spell stuff.
I don't think I can.
And they spell stuff.
Yeah, like I can't read that book in bed at 11 o'clock because I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Why is there a U in color? This is so weird.
Right. I have to like be alert reading his book. So, but no, I just think it's cool. He's the guy's doing everything. And new album out, Senjutsu, very, very cool. New album out, or new song, Writing on the Wall. Their last one, Book of Souls, was really good. I liked it a lot. Still making like an epic song. Every album that like what I call new, like from 2000 on, I call it New Iron Maiden, because that's when Bruce Dickinson rejoined the band. He was gone for about 8 years doing solo stuff. They had a different singer. New Iron Maiden, a lot of old school fans don't even get into it. They don't give it a chance, but it's awesome. Every album has like a long 8-minute epic song or longer. I think the last album, Book of Souls, had like a 15-minute song on there. I think it's called Empire in the Clouds, I believe. But yeah, so they're still doing that. It's crazy. I look forward to seeing them one more time. I hope they never hang it up, but obviously they will one day. But right now, still going strong. So, I think that's it. So this is what are we into? A bullshit episode. A bullshit, as Biran would say. Follow Zlurpcast, all the social media. Join Zlurp Nation. There's a link in the description. Zlurpcast discussions, the Facebook group. Sometimes we put some stuff in there. If you have ideas for show topics, definitely pop into the group and let us know what we should cover. If there's games out there that we haven't hit in the previous episodes. What else? Oh, it's zlurpcast.net. Mike is wearing the same shirt he wore last week. I hope he washed it. He's got the characters on there, not Skynet, but he's got the Death Path All-Stars. You can buy that shirt, not the worn shirt. Like the one Mike's wearing, you probably can't buy.
We'd have to
It's
sell
got
it.
He has to sign it then.
Yeah. It's got to sign it. It's got like his pheromones in it. It's really disgusting. Yeah. But if you want a fresh one from Redbubble, you go to zlurpcast.net. It's like $22 or so. And we get a couple of those bucks as well. Eric, what should people check out that you're working on?
Well, you can find my Blackhoof Saloon Wild West Exodus podcast on Podbean, is where the easiest place probably to find it, or Google and all those other places. And then the newer show I'm doing, Indie Invasion podcast, where we cover independent games, primarily skirmish miniature games, but we talk about RPG and board games and all kinds of stuff, anything game related on that one.
You've got that Death Path episode, I'm sure, ready to go.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Just making sure. I mean, you're not playing games. It's COVID. What the fuck else are you doing? That's all I'm saying.
You probably can't see, but I got the Death Path artwork right there.
Is that what that is? Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Now, question: did you just put that on for this?
No, it's been up there since I got it.
That's bullshit. By the way, you bought that from Scott Prime, correct?
Yep.
I didn't see a dime from that. You're welcome. All right. Well, we had a fun episode this time. There's more games to be talked about. There's more topics of nerdery to be discussed. Like gamer archetypes. We're like there's archetypes for everything. We're talking about fucking doctor archetypes. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want you want a fat chef. You know what I mean? You want to know he knows how to eat. That's what you want. So we got a lot of stuff to cover. And if there's body shaming involved, Biran's all over it. That's all I'm saying. If there's like miniatures and stuff and like hard to find things, Mike's will be like, you know what? I'm going to buy that. I won't play it, but I'm going to buy it. If there's anything fun out there, Xtreme's like, not interested. I'm not into fun anymore, you guys. I'm into bindings. I'm into binding books, which is fun for him. So until next time, it's Zlurpcast, and we're saying bye.
Zlurpcast! Brought to you by Nuffles. Bet you can't just roll a one.